Okay.
I think they're probably watching India-Pakistan games.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. This is very important game today in Asia Cup. Yes. Okay. So thank you whoever joined today. So anyway, so anybody has any question about inheritance from last class? So if you don't have any question on inheritance, so I will move on to next topic. So you can see here, there is three important concept you have to like get familiar before starting the automation testing actually. So object-oriented programming concept, we saw inheritance so far. Now we'll move to polymorphism, because sometimes inheritance also work with polymorphism together. But there are several concepts in polymorphism you already know from inheritance practice. For example, constructor, right? Constructor is part of actually polymorphism. There are some interview questions also. What is polymorphism? Different type of polymorphism. And you have to just know those mostly for interview, and also some level of automation practice in the future actually. So if you don't have any question about inheritance, so I will move to construct polymorphism actually. This is okay. This is still inheritance. Polymorphism, yes. Make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Okay. So basically, polymorphism is it will be working with parameters. So we already saw parameters and argument last class, right? Different type of method. If I open my IntelliJ, so parameterized method, right? This one. Let me close this, all of this, then we open. Okay. So we already saw parameter that, okay, if you can give some variable type and create a method and just link this method and this parameter, right, with these variables, means you are declaring these variables, right, from last class. And from the test, you can just give those parameter based on those variables. So basically, this parameter, Tom is going inside the variable name, right? So this is first level of parameterization. So we saw constructor, the second level, that basically will save you these two additional line. Constructor is also part of polymorphism, but we will go there. Constructor here, right? So in the constructor, we saw this is a special type of method, same name as your class name, right? But inside the signature or the parenthesis, you will have different type of variable order. So you can create 100 teachers method, but only difference has to be this inside the parenthesis, right? This is also called, this is method signature or argument. This is also called argument or method signature, will be just little bit of different. So if you have 6 parameter here or variable here, exactly same 6, you cannot add in this another one. So you have to mix and match, and then you can create as many as possible teachers or same name with constructor. But this is, as I said, this is kind of little bit of practice. If you do practice, you will understand more. So these concepts actually will be part of your polymorphism. So if I go to polymorphism, okay. Here, right? So first, we supposed to understand parameter. We already did this last class. So we also see multiple parameters also, right? Multiple parameter we saw last class, and we also saw constructor in the last class. So then if you understand those parameters and constructor, then one part of polymorphism is already done. So polymorphism, what is that actually? If you think about polymorphism, poly means multiple, morph means forms like status, that one form can be behaving like multiple way actually. So basically when your class have a parameter or have a method and they work differently in different situation, that will be considered as a polymorphism situation. So we saw already in constructor, right? You have exactly same method name, but they're working differently depending on user input. So sometimes if you give user input as just name and phone number, one type of constructor will be accepting those data. If you have another user input giving name, phone number, and address, another constructor will be taking those information. So you see that like same constructor name taking different type of inputs. This is a part of your polymorphism mechanism. So how they work actually, what type of polymorphism is there? So there are basically two types of polymorphism you have to worry about for interview. So one is compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism. Another is runtime or dynamic polymorphism. And what is that actually? So compile time or static polymorphism, example is constructor. We already saw those constructor, right? This constructor is a compile time or static polymorphism. So basically during the compile time, based on your user input, different type of user input will be going under same method, but the method signature will be different, right? If you see this, you will see same method name as teacher, same method name as teacher, but depending on whatever user give the information, if user don't give any information, it will be this default, right? If user give one type of data, one type of the constructor with one type of data will be taking those information. So this is actually compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism. And runtime polymorphism, this is also called method overriding. So we can see that runtime one today. Method overriding is basically, so you saw same method with multiple type of signature. Here you saw same method name, but inside this is different. Now for method overriding, you will see same method name like this, but inside they will be changed. Inside the child, so child will be changed from parent. Parent's method will be changed from grandparent, but name will be exactly same. So how it works actually? So let me create a new class, method overriding. Actually, create a new package maybe. If I create a new package, okay. So method override, I'm creating two class inside the package. First, create the package inside the source. New package. So inside the package, I am creating basically the name method. Actually, no, I'm just directly creating the method overriding. Method overriding is the package name. So inside the package name, I will create few classes and we'll see how method overriding works. So method overriding. So if I just create a new class, so similar way, I'm just creating a parent class, for example. I'm creating a parent class. I'm just giving a name as a parent class. So inside the parent class, I will create a method actually. So this is not constructor, so it will not be same name as class. Constructor will have same name as a class, but this is a regular method. You can give any name. So I'm saying, for example, my parent class, if you think about a house, right? Maybe your parent got a house from your grandparent and that house had some specific feature. Now he or she want to change it, update it, remodel the house. So like this type of situation, you will see that method overriding concept. When same house will be just changed over the time. So if I create a method, how I can create a method? I just getting void void and give a method name. For example, my house. If I give my house is a method name. So what is the specific syntax for a method? Can somebody tell me what I should type now? This is a method name. So method always start with parentheses, right? This is the concept that how you can see something is method. And then start with curly bracket. So inside the curly bracket, I will just write some code or some print statement. This is for your parent class. So my target is from parent class, when it go to child class, something will be changed inside the house design or something. So I can say system, right? Dot out, right? And then dot, you can just select println. And inside the println, you will be giving some information. So you can say the house has 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The house has 2 bedroom and 1 bathroom. So this is your, for example, parents' house. Now you will create another class, that is child class. So inside the child class, you are saying your house will have now 3 bedroom and 2 bathroom. Something like, so, okay, you got this house from your parent. Now you are remodeling it, and inside the house, you are just making a new design. So that will be your new design, but you are getting same house from your parent. So if I just create a new class, new Java class. So now I can write a child class. So child class is a new class that I just created. So child class, I can do 2 things. One, I want to extend the parent class as part of my inheritance. So if I want to use the inheritance concept with this child class and link the parent, only I have to use the word extend. You see that extends.
Is that double inheritance?
Double inheritance. What does that mean? I didn't get it actually.
So not double inheritance. I got the wording wrong, but it's like the second tier of inheritance.
No,
I
this
think
is the first tier.
got the word wrong.
You got parent, now you have child. So basically, this is a single inheritance basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is just simple single inheritance. There are a couple of other one like multi-level and hierarchical, right? So, but this is a simple single inheritance. So parent, right? Parent class. So now what does that mean? So that mean you have everything from parents now inside the child. So child automatically is getting this parents method, void my house. But now child decided to do update internal house structure, right? So child is basically now adding 1 extra bathroom and 1 extra bedroom. So what is that? You can say, okay, you can use 2 things. You can use at override. Is that at override? So this word and then void and then use same exact method name that you had in parents. So, and what are you gonna do? Just instead of 2 bedroom and 1 bathroom, you will be just writing 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Now I can say 3 and 2. So this is just like a sample code. So all I want to actually explain that in the future, when you test some specific scenario, you will see that, okay, you are getting the method from your parent, but now you are modifying your method as a child. So you have full right to modify exactly same method. So you can actually add stuff inside the method. You can delete stuff inside the method. This is actually method overriding. So you are overriding the method you got from the parents or grandparents. So this is the main purpose to show this. So now if you create a test class, so now you want to check this method overriding. You are testing method overriding. So this part, what you did, so, oh, this is parent. So now child, right? So you just so you just did override, right? So even you don't write this, it's still okay. If you don't write it, still it will be working. So if you just use exactly, you extended it and using the same method name, it will be automatically, the system will assuming that you are just overriding it. But add override means you are just declaring that, okay, now I will override this method. So basically you are overriding, right? Methods from the parent. So it can be parent, grandparent, does not matter. So it depends, right? So you are now overriding this. Now you are creating a test class for method overriding to check if method overriding is working. New Java class. I can say test method overriding, maybe. So test method overriding. So in test method overriding, just first, so whenever you test something, you want to display something, right? All you have to do just write the main method, because without main method, it will not run, right? So inside the main method, you will create some object from your child or object from your parents. So to create object, what formula you use? Can somebody tell me? So I want to check two things. First, I want to check that, okay, I want to display parent information. So, and now second part, I want to display child information. So it's a parent, that will be child. So to show this, I have to first create object. So to create parent information, so how I can create object? Can somebody tell me? From last two class, actually, last class we actually did this many times. So what I have to write to create an object from parent? Can somebody tell me? Hello, can you hear me actually?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I want to, for example, okay, just remove this. Method. I have child, okay. So now I have parent class, right? So I want to create an object for parent. So what is the concept? Like how what is the formula or syntax we used last class for all the practices? So how you create a new object? Anybody did practice actually last class? Anything from last class or before last?
Would it be like around the lines for like the string name or like the system out maybe, or no?
No, this is not the right answer, but anybody practiced last class?
It start with the class name.
Yeah, start with the class name. Okay, that's the right answer.
And then the
So parent class. And then you have to give any reference variable. You give your name, it still work. Anything like variable, any reference variable. It will
I
be
can
referencing this class.
P1 or
Anything I can say, okay, P1. And then,
to new
yeah, new,
parent class.
and then that class, yeah. So this is actually right answer. So basically you created a new object for this parent. You can create similar 100 object from this parent. So this parent is a like a template. So now you are creating parent reference object inside the test just to see if your test is working or not. So in automation practice, when you do in the future, you have to create some new object always to test some scenario. So now I want to check if inheritance working and also method overriding is working or not. So now I can say P1 dot. Whenever I say P1 dot, I'm saying my house. Similar thing I will create for child also. So this will be actually C1, right? Child will be C1. Also same thing, C1. Or if you can see C1 dot, whenever you write dot, it will be my house. So you can see that inheritance is working. So now if I run this, so I should see for parent 2 bedroom and 1 bathroom, and for child I will see 3 bedroom and 2 bathroom. So now this one is actually coming both 2 bathroom, bedroom and 1 bathroom. So there is another concept actually that we have to add to see if there is another concept called this. So now you can see that, okay, your reference variable is working. Now, okay, so why is there like both has 2 bedroom and 1 bathroom? Can somebody tell me that there is something that I have to change? I choose this my house, but in this code, somewhere I have to change a little bit also. You see that when I copied, right? Both coming from parent. I did not change this class yet. That's why it's coming as a parent. You see that? I just copied and give C1. C1 doesn't mean anything, right? It can be anything. That's why both is coming as a parent level, right? You have to change this also, right? I just copied, but I did not change the class level actually. I just changed some name, the variable name. So if I give child now, and also this one, right? Now it should be displaying 2 different ones. You see that now it is working. So before I just changed this reference variable, but reference variable you can change for anything, but you have to change the class level. So this is the class level. So that's why this is displaying now 3 bedroom and 2 bathroom, because now you change to child class. So you see that this is the simple concept. This is a simple concept, right? You had in the parent, you had one type of method. Now you are just basically changing this method into child, updating this. You can do anything. You can add more line, you can delete line, you can update the text, anything you want. Basically you are changing it, right? Changing this method, parent method to child method, is called basically method overriding. So, and this one is this one, runtime or dynamic polymorphism. So this is to interview question. Like most of the time they will be asking if object-oriented programming concept related questions are asked during the interview. What is polymorphism? What are 2 types of polymorphism and what are those? And you have to give the example, especially compile time or static polymorphism. The constructor, remember constructor we did last class? Constructor is one of the important topic for interview and also for automation practice, and it is part of your polymorphism, static polymorphism. So you can clearly see that, okay, this polymorphism is working with inheritance, but polymorphism can be done without inheritance also. So compile time polymorphism, right? We saw, if you see constructor again, actually, where is constructor? Okay, here, right? This and this, right? So we did not use any inheritance concept. We use just object creation concept, directly object creation. So we did not actually created any kind of layer of relationship. So if you don't have any relationship with another class, it's still fine. Constructor will work, or your method overriding will work. But if you need to create a second layer, for example, teacher, then you are adding another test class as student and making a relationship with teacher student, then you have to extend here. So this is 2 types, right? So one is constructor, same name of the method, but different type of argument inside the signature. And you also saw child class, right? That method overriding. Constructor was method overloading and changing the method details inside, overriding it. This is method overriding it. Even if you just if you don't write it, still it will work. Still it will work. For example, if I now run this, you see that it is still working. So you can write at override, or you can just don't write at override. It still will work, but as long as you are getting this from your parent, so your parent will be changed here when you are just overriding it. So anybody did not understand what is method overriding and what is method overloading? These 2 will be interview question actually. These 2 will be interview question. Now going back to W3 School. So in the W3 school now, we will check another one is return type or return. So when you write your some of the, okay, so there is another interview question about return keyword. Let me go to IntelliJ and create another package, return keyword, because return keyword will be used a lot in IntelliJ, not in IntelliJ, in automation practice. When you do practice, so you will see return keyword a lot. I'm just removing this. Actually, I'm just creating a new package that will be returned. New, then package, and I will write return keyword. Return keyword is my new package. So inside the return keyword, I will actually do few practice, and so one, okay. One, okay, so first, okay. I'm creating one package. No, I created package. I'm creating one class. The class name is my profile, for example. So I right click, right? My profile. So in the return type, right, I will be using parameterized method. Remember we did parameterized method last class. So you will see parameterized method, method overriding, method overloading, inheritance a lot actually when you practice Java automation. So basically the suggestion is do practice, you will understand actually more when you do some practice, watching maybe W3 school, watching other maybe YouTube channel or anything, Udemy course. Okay, so first I'm creating a class name, okay, my profile. So my profile is my class, and for, okay, for parameterized method, what we did, we gave some variables. First, we gave some variable, and then inside the variable, we create a method and use those variables. This is the first level of parameter. So first, just give some variable maybe, right? So I'm writing string first name, for example, string first name, or maybe name, any name. So this is one of my, or maybe you can give first name. So usually people has first name and last name. So I can probably use a couple of more string. So string city, maybe, right? City, people usually live in city. Another one, maybe string state, and then I will use another one, zip code, as integer. State, and then my fourth variable is zip code. Actually, int. Zip code is I'm using as integer, int. But if you think about Canadian zip code or European zip code, that will be string also, because Canada, European zip code, they have letters, right? Alphabet. But US zip code only numbers. So I'm assuming my application is for US people only. Okay, so now I will create another test method to see return type. So what is that? So let me just write. There's two ways you can use the word return. So I'm creating one method now, public string. So whenever you use return type, right, you have to use, you cannot use void. So basically void will not return anything. So anytime you use void, that means you cannot use the word return inside. You will see this now. So I'm giving a name, for example, test method. So I'm giving a method name test method. So test method is my method name. So usually method start with parentheses, right? And then curly bracket. So inside that I will give return word. So if you write a regular line, like print line, okay, if I say system dot, right, dot, actually I'm writing it first, actually, since I gave comment, it is not showing anything, right? So println. Inside that I want to write, okay, something that, okay, I can say, okay, my friend then I will give concatenation, right? Remember, concatenation is plus symbol. Then the F name means first name, right? See that string. And then plus, I'll give something lives in, and then city, right? Some city, lives in some city. So whenever you use this, you see that color is changing. State is still gray because I did not use the state here yet. And usually after the city, you give a comma, right? So I'm just giving a comma. And then you give state. This is also a variable. And then you give a space, right? Usually between state and zip code, you give space, right? You can give space or no space, but if you want to give space, you have to just write it down and then plus zip maybe. So what I did, I just wrote a method, and inside the method I gave system.out.println. So now this one actually I want to use in my parameterized method, for example. And I will create an object for my, what is that? My profile. So my profile, I will create an object for my profile and want to give some information for this. So for this one, I'm returning some information, right? So for returning information, all you have to do, you have to just write return instead of this. You have to write return and remove everything. So if you want to write return, so now before that, I just want to go to create an object first. I'm creating an object, new. Now I'm creating a new class. New class will be test return. Actually, I gave the space in the middle. That's why it did not work. You cannot give any space when you just write class name or not class name. Yeah, class name, method name, or variable. You cannot give any space. So you see that this is a red. Why this is red? Because it is already giving red, because since you said it is not void, it should display and return something. Anytime you give this type of method, you have to use return. But if you just use, instead of public, you use void, for example, no public, just void. And you cannot give this. So whenever you use void, right, just void and just method, then you see this no red. Now you are saying that, okay, I don't want to use void. I want to see something as part of this method. So void means nothing will be displaying. Nothing will be displaying as part of, basically it is not returning anything. Void means it is not returning anything. But if you want to return anything, you have to give the type of return types, basically. What type of data you supposed to see as part of return? You're supposed to see string type, right? So name, state, phone number, zip code, those type of things is just like string. So your return type has to be mentioned here. So now same thing, I'm just converting public, right? Public, and then return type string. So once I do this, again, I see the red. So now if I just remove this, so what you have to do? You just have to remove system.printout element. So all you have to do, just give a return word and just copy and paste. So now if I just give a word return, and what it is returning, so now you see that all the red is gone because you are using the word return. So you will see return word sometimes when you do automation practice in the future classes, because sometimes you want to see those as a string or as an integer or as a double. So when you want to see some information as a return, you always start with this, like public string method. Sometimes you will see you will be using the word private, but for regular use, you're not going to use the word private. So public is kind of a common word that you'll be using. So now if I go to, so I kept exactly same, right? All I did, remove that system.out println. So return will be kind of similar concept that print method. So whatever print method is supposed to do, return is doing exactly same thing, actually. But print method, you don't have to mention what type of data should be displayed. But in return, you have to mention that what type of data it will be returning. So now if I check the test method, so I want to create an object for my profile. What I have to do? Can somebody tell me what I have to do? So if I want to test return, right? So create object all I have to do, just similar way, like last answer whoever gave, always start with my profile, right? My profile is the class name. So I will start with my profile. You see that my profile, then you can give anything, profile 1, for example, profile 1. This is your reference variable. And then new, the word new, right? And then my profile again. So your object creation is done. Now you can create multiple. So since you created a new object and use this reference as a my profile template, so basically you can use this my profiles variables. All the variables from my profile will be now, variable and method will be now part of this object, part of this object. So what is the difference between this creating new object from the class, and also we saw in inheritance? What is the basic difference? So inheritance means when you do inheritance, so this is a class level. Inheritance will be class level. Anything you are doing you are writing here, automatically this your parent class is part of this. But when you use object creation method, only time when you create the word new, then it will be part of this. Otherwise, it will not. And the word new means it will be only part of this class. But if you want to do inheritance for another class, is object creation will not work. So you always have to, if you want to link parent-child relationship, you have to use the word extend here. So now from here, I will be using those math variable and create several name, or basically this one, right? I will give some name as first name, then city, then state, and then zip code. So your profile 1, right? You see that profile 1 dot f name equal to, you can give anything, right? I can give, for example, John. Similar way, right? If I do first name, then city, right? And then state, then zip code. And now you just adding the information. For example, you can give anything, right? Storia, for example. State New York, right? Like this is okay. And since this is a data type integer, right? You cannot give quotation. For integer, if you give quotation, that will be error. That's why it is red. So if you just give something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will accept. So now I want to see the information. So what was the method return type I want to use? So I have test method, right? Now, if I use test method, so all I am doing test method, and now I am actually Okay. Similarly, this one, right? What I gonna do? Instead of profile, okay. So if you say profile 1, right? So this is coming from, this is new, and then dot test method. So if I do this and run this now, should it work? I don't see anything actually. I don't see anything. So since you use the word return, right? So now you have to make another variable for this test method, or you have to make a connection. So how you are doing this? So now, for example, you are saying your return will be string, right? Remember you said string, and then you can give anything. For now, I'm giving the return method message. So you can just give RM, right? RM means return message equal to, now you can give this one. So I'm basically making a connection. So now if I use the word system.out.println, it should be working. So in the test class, I will be using system.out.println. .out.println. So inside this parenthesis, you will be giving now this RM, whatever variable you gave here. So now if I run this, I should see all of this data. You see that? So basically, when you use this word return, it will not directly work like this before. Before what we did, for example, you see that we just directly write variable or reference variable dot method. So now we cannot actually directly write method here, dot method. We have to first give a reference variable for this method, and then, so all of this, basically the running the method will be inside some variable, and this variable is RM. So basically you are printing this RM here. So this is for return. So now if you just go to, let me check if they how they explained about return keyword. Anything that's okay. I'm just searching this maybe. Return keyword. Okay. So you see that so this is the another one. Okay. This is second option. Okay. So now the second option is this one. I'll be going this now to show you the second option. So, okay, first see what they did for return keyword. So here, So before we used to use the word system.out println here, right? Now we are not using this. We are using actually return. Since we are using return, it is giving. So you can give static or public. It does not matter. So if you use public, you can use anywhere. For static, it will be basically this static will give you like use you less memory so from the system. So sometimes if you have a lot of data, the anything that is fixed will be used as a static. So you can use public also here. Int is data type and method. So you are basically giving some variable here that will be coming from directly from the test. So how it is working, let me create another class that will be actually explaining this one more.
Bhaiya, can you please explain what is return keyword and when and why we should use it?
So yes, so return keyword basically, if you see that, okay, if you see here, right, the return keyword finished the execution of a method and can be used to return a value from a method. So return keyword basically will be give a value from a method. You see that here, this return word is giving a value. So whatever is this x plus 5 will be your return keyword. Now, if you want to write, if you want to display return value, then you have to use system.println. And inside this, you can directly give this x value since you already provided a parameterized method. So this is a parameterized method. So you are giving a parameter inside the parenthesis. Remember we did last time. So if you see the code actually, if you see this code, now, if you just, if you just create a method, similar method in IntelliJ, what you will see. So, let me create a method like this in IntelliJ. Return example. Okay, I'm creating return example 2. Return. So inside the return demo 2, for example, if you see this parameters method, so all you are giving this one. So now if I just open it, now if I create another demo 2 test, new Java class, demo 2 test. So basically I will be testing this demo. So return demo, if you see here, right? Okay. So now if I write this demo 2 test and write it here, so how I know this is this method is actually not recognized here. Actually, you see that you have to first create an object. So if you just write everything in a single class, it will be working like this. So this is everything in a single class. So when you test this in a separate class, then it has to be actually done differently. So you have to first create the object from this class, like here is main, and then you have to actually make a relationship by creating new object. And also remember here we saw this dot test method. So now if I go there back, I will create a new class. So return demo, for example, my class will be return demo 2, and I'm just writing R1, R2, for example, equal to new return demo 2. So now I want to write this, right? So I want to give my method, right? So my method actually is not recognized here because remember I said that, okay, if we use return type, you have to give something like that. So now what is that number? This is a number, right? So int. So int basically, so your return type will be int, integer. So I can say int. I can see R value. So R2 value equal to, what was the method here? My method. So basically R2 dot my method. So one related problem, okay, what is that problem for C? Okay. So return type, return demo 2 R2 equal to return demo 2. So from here, okay, I'm just giving int oh, actually this is public. You see that whenever you go different class, you have to use the public. If you are using in the same class, it can be used static. So public means it will be accessible from another class. So that's why when I gave dot, I didn't see my method at the beginning. So now I can see my method. So all you have to do, you see that? So since this is a parameterized method, you gave a parameterized method here, right? So these 3 you are giving here, it will be going there now. And all you have to do, just give R2 value, basically. So now if you run this, it's supposed to see the return is 8. So basically this one is an example of in a single class, you are using the return type, but actually in real life, in automation practice, this part will be always go inside, what is that? This part will be always going inside another class. So you basically have this one and this one in a separate class. Why you are using this? Because you want to, so return, as I said, return will be providing you the value. So it is basically skipping your system.out println in the method directly. So you are using this print method in the test class. So if you want to use print method in the test class, you are using actually return method here. You got it? So here you are not actually writing print method directly. You are just creating the parameterized method, and you are giving just return statement here, what you want to see as a return. Okay, so let me go back and check another return example. 1 second. This return is gone. Okay. Okay, this one. Okay, this is another example. Okay. So if you go to the practice first. So here, right, you don't see any return. This is directly, you are just getting the method. So we actually so far use this one. So if you run this, you're supposed to see I just got executed, right? So this one actually did not use any return type. So whenever you use no return type, then you give system.out println in your original template class. But whenever you use return type, right, you use system.out println inside the test class, actually, in the test class. So this part you understood, that when you use return type, you are not giving system.println inside the template class. Hello? Everybody can hear my voice actually?
Yes.
So basically the purpose of this, to return some value or some string or double, but whenever you use return, you cannot directly write inside the print method. You have to first create a variable of this method, and then you can use this inside the print method. This is the option. Let me check if they have. Okay, this one is not return, and this is with return. Let me check few more examples. This is W3 School, Java, T-point. This one I can see. Okay, so this one is another good example. Maybe you can see. So, okay. So if I create another example, then it probably give you a little more. Return demo 3, I'm creating another one. Plus, okay. So return demo. So if I just follow this example from another site, actually. So what you are doing here, public class, right? Return then. all you are doing, int display. This one. So this is the only method. This is the method. And inside this, you said return 10. Sometime you will have in automation practice, you will see some number, you will just give return. So now you have to return those in your print method when you test. So now if you want to return this 10, you cannot just create an object and dot display. You see that? First, you have to create a variable. Then, okay, let me go back. Now you are just creating this one. Another test bus. That will be maybe return demo 3 test. So this one, now I want to test return demo 3 and I want to see this 10, the value 10. If you want to see this value 10, what you have to do? Can somebody tell me now what is my first step? So this is return demo class, and now I want to see this value in my test. What is the first step I should write? You have to create an object of this return demo 3, right? So here they're using same class, but as I said, in automation practice, you are not using same class. You are using one class for this and another class for public static void. So public static void will be my test first, right? In the test. So what is the next step? So next step is return demo 3. You have to create an object, right? New as a new. Anytime you want to use some template, you always have to use the word object. Create object first. So return demo 3. See that? I can say R3 equal to new return demo 3. So now you have R3, and if you just click dot display, you don't see anything. You see that the originally what we did earlier before return, right? All we did, created object. Remember, if I go to parameterize method here, all we did, created object and just call this method. But for return, it will not working like directly calling. First, you have to make a reference variable for this method of calling. Now, this is not working for return. All you have to do, you have to create a reference variable of this. All you have to give just what type of return is, you are getting a number, right? Number is int. So int and anything variable. R3 value, for example, right? Equal to this one, right? So now you can use this as your system.println. So you did not see anything because you don't have any system.println. You have to use inside the system.println. Remember? System.out.println, this one. Now, if you give inside this R3 value, it will display. Now you're supposed to see here the value 10. So this return, right? So you are a little bit more clear now why, like how you are using return, the word return.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
You can also find hundreds of YouTube videos about the return type. So the simple way you can say, okay, there are several scenarios you will be actually returning some values. It can be integer, it can be double, it can be string. And when you want to see this value in your test, you cannot directly write just object dot method, because this return method does not have any print, right? There is no print. So without print, you cannot see anything. So now if you want to see this print, you have to write this print. And before this print, that display should be saved as some reference variable. So this is anything, you can give your name, it will work. So inside the print, basically you will give this reference variable. So this is return, and you will see this return sometimes when you do automation practice actually. Let me go to W3 School again. W3 School Java. So far, okay, let me check what we did. We did most of them already. We did not do like very thorough practice. It is kind of your homework, but we covered like what is that and some examples, all of them. Till arrays, we showed method parameters, we already did last class. Method overloading and method overriding also we did. Classes, object, attributes, method, constructor. So next one, I will go to encapsulation. Polymorphism is kind of high level done. Inheritance is done. How to create package, you know already. Some of them like data type, array list, you already know. Another one, static in Java. Okay, this one sometimes is important to know when you use static and when you don't use static actually. So static, this is a keyword, right? Remember I said Java has like 38 or 40 keywords, and that keyword you cannot use for method name, you cannot use for variable name, right? You cannot use for class name also. So this is memory management. You see that? Remember I said when you use the word static, it will be saving your memory. So if you think that, okay, you want to use a word static and this value will be stay same. So if you think something is constant, use the word static. If you think that number is not constant, it can be changed over time. One test, it is some other number, another test, another number value. So then don't use the word static. Instead of static, give the word maybe public or something else. And now if you see here, So you see this. This is an example of one of the college database, for example. So you see when there are some registration happens, right? Some new student come. The college name, for example, if you go to, for example, New York University, college name will be always same for this college. There will be no difference, but the name, ID, some other information will be changed. So if you think that, okay, this college is fixed, we are not changing this for this application, it can be static, because then the memory will be saved. So static will be saved, and then you will be just calling this static. So if you don't use static, for new student, a new string will be created. But static, only one time will be created for maybe 100,000 students. If you use the word static for New York Public Library, then any users in public library will be used same static. But if you use the word string, that means every time a new users or new ID will be created, a new memory allocation will be actually there for that one. So that's why, to saving space, you will be using the word static. So the modified version for this, you see that here, they're using the word static as a static string. That means this is fixed and this cannot be changed. So if you use the word static, it cannot be changed basically. But if you use the word other than anything static, it can be changed over the time, over the classes, different places. But static will be basically will be fixed and lock it down for this ITS. And this college name will be always ITS. So this is the example if you just go and check the class. So now if you think, okay, you are giving this output, actually this is not working. Okay, so now, okay, I'm just copying this and I'm just copying this and creating a new class just to show you in IntelliJ. For some reason, this web application is not working. So, okay, I'm just creating a new package, static, or maybe new class, static. Okay, so this is a new class. So what I did here, I just copied the code, right? So there are a lot of red, right? Let me check why those are red. So first one is, this is your class name, right? And this class name, this is red because okay, public static, okay, static and public static string. So okay, so there are a couple of variables, right? This one is instance variable. I'm just removing this. I'm just making sure, okay, that if this code works or not. Int, so roll number. So roll number, every student has their own roll number. So this is not fixed for the college. Name, this is definitely not fixed for the college. The college, the string college, right, ITS, this is fixed for all the students, right? This is like, if there are 100 students, ITS will be fixed. So now you are creating so this is red because you see that student, this is not actually student. This is, here is student, but I changed the name, right? That's why it is red. So this will be actually static demo. Remember, constructor is the same name as the class. Static demo, this one. So static demo. And now this is to signature, right? And what are those? We are declaring, remember we did some constructor before. We did some constructor. If you see first this one, we have this and we declared the first, you are giving some variables. Now you are creating a constructor exactly the same name as class name. And then inside the argument, you are giving what type of variables are those, and you are basically saying, okay, this S means this E means this. So, okay, now going back to this. So far, this construction creation from here to here, anybody did not understand this part? This is a constructor. And now the second part, the testing part, right? So basically static void main. This is student, right? This is actually static demo. We did not actually keep the same name. That's why it is static demo. You see that? This one will be also static demo. So you have to just keep consistent with the name. This one will be also same thing, static demo. So there are two objects creation. So now there is no more red. Everybody just saw what I just did. This part. Anybody did not understand actually? Hello? You can hear me?
Yes.
But so you got this concept that how this constructor was created and how this object was created and this.
Yes, this is clear.
Okay. So then you can see this is a static, right? Now, if I run this, I should see the information here. Okay, so it did not work. Let me check. Okay, this is okay. Test static is public. Oh, okay. Okay, okay, this one, test static variables. Okay, this is okay. So you have to maybe fix a little bit. Test static is public, should be declared in file name. Test static variable 1. Okay. Public class. Display, okay. Public class static demo. Oh, okay. Void display. Let me check. Okay, so, okay. Let me check. It should be working now. Okay, yeah. So basically, I cannot give the public because I'm using the word static. You see that? Okay, where is that actually? So college, right? College is a static. So I cannot use the word public. That's why it was giving me error. So if I use the word public, it will give me error again. See that? It did not run before because I did not. So now it will be public if I remove this word as a static. You see that if you remove this word as a static, and now you have to provide here also. So since you had static, you don't have to give this static word here. Now, if you run this, it will give you error. It is already giving you error, right? Because you just remove the word static. And you gave only 2. So if you use the word static, you don't have to provide this variable, any of these parameters. So you can always use this anywhere without actually declaring inside the parameter. So now if I give college and then C, and then here college equal to C. Now it should, you'll see this is also red because now you have to give this college name again every time. So to avoid this type of situation, because this college should be your fix, right? For all the students in same college or all the students in same school should be fixed. So that's why you are just removing this and just declaring this as a static. So when you declare a static, you don't have to write anywhere this college again and again. It will be automatically just called. So static. And whenever you use static, you cannot use the word public here. So now you see that you did not even give any college name here as part of parameterized method, right? But since you use the word static, it will be all automatically by default will be there because you already created a method here. And this college is part of static and you don't have to give this college here. So use of static is maybe not interview question, but you have to understand why you use static, why you don't use static. So basically, if you think that, okay, this word is fixed for all of your test cases, then just consider this as a static. So you don't have to write every time this word for all the test cases. So everybody understood the use of static?
Yes.
This is an important concept. Sometimes you will see in some test cases that all of the sudden out of
So
10
if-
variable, you see like 1 or 2 is static.
So if I think about DTS will be static and all of our information.
Will be non-static.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically static is like common characteristic, will be common for everybody.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. So far, those are important. Now we have, actually, I don't know why this did not work before, but okay. Okay, here, right? Okay, so going back to our original thing. Okay, so far we are done inheritance, we are done polymorphism. Now we'll be going to encapsulation. So encapsulation is another concept that will be for mostly for security reason, especially like if you think about banking domain, right? How the code works, like if you give some information and internally code will be verifying that, okay, if this data is correct or not correct. So this is basically security reason. There is another concept called encapsulation. So if you just see, we'll be going to this is the encapsulation. Okay. So what is encapsulation actually? So basically your methods, variable, everything will be inside a capsule so that outside people like hackers and other thing like not authorized people cannot see your data or cannot access your data. This is a concept basically, this concept called encapsulation. So packaging process is like, you see that the picture inside the capsule, there is a layer. If you want to go inside the capsule, you have to follow some kind of method, some kind of actually mechanism. And this mechanism is called get. And if you think about the example, there is a method or mechanism called get mechanism. And let me check. Okay. In encapsulation, I'm just thinking what type of so get and set, this type of mechanism there. So okay, so get and set will be like, for example, set will be like key. Like if you want to go to some apartment or some room, you, for example, you are going to some house, you have access. And how you have access? Because you have the key. So nobody else can go. Otherwise, if they have key, whoever has the key, they can go. They can open the door and can go inside. Now you are working for some restaurant and your owner said, okay, there is a storage, and that storage, there is a box. Bring that box. That storage is locked. So your owner will give you a key and will tell you exactly, okay, this rack and this rack has this box. Go to this room and check this rack. And inside this rack, you will find something name or some kind of box. And you will get this box, take it, and will come back outside of the room, or outside of the storage, and give this box to your owner. So this process, there is a process called getter and setter. So getter and setter means basically, set means you are just opening the door and going inside the coding capsule, and getter means you are coming outside of that capsule. And how it works, this is like simple mechanism. If you just, okay, I'm just, okay, first close all of this, then we'll be writing some. Okay, so I'm creating another package. This is called encapsulation. So name is encapsulation. So encapsulation is a new package, and inside that package, I will create some classes. One will be that test template I will be creating, and another I will be creating a test class that I will basically verify that if my getter and setter method works or not. First, go to that picture first, and how it works. Just want to see. Where is that actually? Okay. So, okay. Polymorphism is done now. Encapsulation. Okay. Okay. So encapsulation, first, just see like from theory perspective. I already explained like real how it works, but we'll do little more practice after that. So packaging variables and method into a single unit. So this, for example, every code come as a unit. Your coding is a unit, right? And now encapsulation is a process basically protecting data, right? You said, remember I said like protecting data from outside unexpected people or unexpected source, like hackers, and if you are not authorized person. Remember I said we usually use public, but sometimes we will be using your method variables as a private. Private means they are not open for everybody. They are open for specific people or specific users. And how encapsulation works, right? Basically, these are a little smaller, so let me make it a little bigger. So it will be, the package will be private, right? For example, you see that one of the code, right, has name and age saved as a private. So that means if my test class wants that name and age for some testing, they cannot use it. So they have to use this key mechanism, right? Getter and setter to access this name and age. You see that this is a private. Before we use those as a public. Now this is private. And so if you don't use anything by default, these are kind of public. We actually, when we declared the variable, we did not use any private word. Now, because this is very, very sensitive information for a bank or for some company, financial company, or for maybe healthcare industry, now this is private. So you only can access those information using getter and setter option. And how you use getter and setter option. Now you can see some of them written also, right? This actually screenshot is a little bit confusing. So I will actually go to IntelliJ and show you getter and setter process and how it works actually. This picture is little confusing because if you see first one example, real practice, then you probably will understand. So now, okay. I created a package encapsulation. Now I will create a user demo, new class, user, for example. So this is like, for example, in a library or in a bank or in a financial company or anything, you have users, right? There is a code for users. So inside the user, I will declare some of the variables. I will give string as a name and then name. And then I will give phone number or maybe date of birth. DOB, right? Date of birth is so date of birth, what type of data type? This is string again. And I can give one more variable called maybe phone number. Phone number I am keeping as integer, for example. Sometimes phone number will be used as a string, but for now, this is a like 10-digit integer. So these three variable, I'm creating some, this is for some bank, for example. So now, since this is a bank, for security purpose, I don't want to keep them as a default like public so that everybody can see that or everybody can use this. So I want to add the word private there. You see that private? So when you use private, that means your test class will not have access immediately. They will not have access without specific permission. And specific permission means you need a key, right? And that key is basically set key, set and get. So now I will have key inside also. So that key, basically those keys are some method name. And the right user will know those method name. Otherwise, if you don't know those method name, you cannot use those keys. So that's why sometimes those specific method name that you are creating as like a key will not be accessed by some hacker or something like, so they cannot know those method name, specific method name. But those method name will be public, but you cannot use those key without those method name. Because those method name basically only internal people can give you or know those name actually. Okay, so now I am creating one key for name. So I'm creating a getter. Getter. This is called getter. Basically, not getter actually. I'm first creating actually setter, because first you will set the data. Okay, so set the name. So similar method, what I need for name, I need two key. I have to create two key. One is set, one is get. For date of birth, I need two key. One is set, one is get. And for phone number, I need two key. One is set, one is get. Oh, what I did actually. Oh, okay. I probably just copied another one. Okay, so I have to basically 6. So I am I'm just creating just comment, making, okay, set key, get key. You have to create those keys when you test. Set the name, right? Set the date of birth. Same thing. get the date of birth, right? And phone number, set the phone number. So this will be get. So now inside this, I will create those methods that will be like key, like setter and getter, getter and setter. So first one will be public. So public void. So since you are setting the name, you are now creating some kind of parameterized method. Public void set name. It will be, you can give any name actually. This is just like a name, right? So since we are setting the name, I'm just giving set name. Set name. Now set name, and since this is a method, you will have parentheses, and inside the parentheses you are basically giving curly bracket. No, curly bracket is next part, but inside the parentheses you are giving the variable you created, string name. You see that string name? Now, the system does not know what is the, which string name is that. So now you want to say that, okay, this dot name equal to new name. So basically you are basically giving a new name as a new variable. So this new name basically will be representing this name. So you see that hackers don't know what name is there actually, what variable is there. They probably know the name, this probably name, but they exactly don't know what is the variable here. So now you are saying inside that, okay, this, the word this dot name, you see that name equal to basically this one. You are saying this dot name, this name equal to this new name. Basically this is a parameter. So you are creating a parameter. So now from outside test class, you can give this parameter and you can set a name here. So it is making a connection here. You see that this key basically, this, the word this, making a connection with this. This is a private. That's why you are making this connection. Otherwise, you don't need this actually. So now you are setting a name. Now how you can get a name? To get a name, you are using now the word return. Remember we use the word return. Now we are writing public void. So name actually return, right? So it's not void. You are returning some kind of name. So now you are using return and you have to give the specific data type. So data type will be string. Name is string, right? This one we use void because we are not returning here anything. You see that we are not returning anything here. But now get means you are going inside and returning some value. to returning some value, you are basically you need to return some value from here. So you are using the word return here. And anytime you use the word return, you cannot write void. You have to give the data type and then return. Now I can say get name, right? And then parenthesis. So inside the parenthesis, you don't need anything. You just need return. If you want to return, then all you have to do just type return name. So this name is this. Basically, you are returning this name. You are setting this name and then returning this name. So now this key is ready. For name key is ready. So you have to create two more key like this. One pair. This is pair of keys actually, basically. One pair for date of birth, one pair for phone number. If I just okay, I'm just copy paste and then change little bit. The instead of name, I will write phone number. Okay. This is set, right? Okay. Also set. I will copy this also, return also. For get, you are using return word. This red because you cannot use exactly same method name, right? So this is for name and this is for date of birth. So I will just write set date of birth. You see that? Here also I will write set get date of birth. Here I will write set phone number. And here I will write phone. This is set. This is set. Now you have to change this also, right? Actually, before that, this one, right? New birth. Actually, dot equal to new date of birth, this one. So basically I'm just making this accordingly because I copied everything from name, right? But I did not copy from date of birth. Similar way, this one, instead of name, it will be date of birth. Now, similar way, this one is new phone. So set phone. Now this phone And this one will be new phone. And this one, okay, why this is red? Let me check. So public void set phone, okay. So phone number actually was not string. This is int, remember? Actually, all of them, we made it string, okay. This is also string. Phone number, and this one is phone. So these are all of these basically setter, getter, or getter, setter keys I created. So everybody understood that what I just did. I just created getter and setter.
So the phone was int before, right?
Yes, so I just changed it to string. So it does not
Okay.
matter actually.
Okay.
So anytime you have string, you have to write string here. So now I will create a test class. Now I will create a test class, and inside the test class, I will just modify those information or get those information whenever necessary. So basically private, what is private means actually? Private means basically you are restricting the access, right?
Only those who have access, they can view it.
Yes. But there is nothing that, okay, you will have access like this. So all you have to do to access those, you have to use those getter and setter method from the test class. When I create test class, you will see exactly what I'm doing actually. So now I'm creating another test class, test users. New class. So this is my new class. So in the new class, you always have to write public static void, right? Now, if you use this test user, what you are doing now? You are creating object for users, right? So all you are doing, you are creating, for example, now, since let me create 2 users for all 3 fields, right? So this is user, right? So user, always start with the class, right? User 1, for example, user 1 or u1, does not matter, whatever you give, equal to new user. Second one will be user, then user 2 equal to new user. Okay, so I created 2 users. So now I will give these 2 users. I have to just I have to give 2 names, or maybe I can use 3 users, for example. So I created 3 users. Now I'll be using getter and setter method to name these users. So what is the first thing? So first I will be using the set method, right? So all of these set method, right, have some kind of parameter. You see that? New name, new date of birth, new phone. So similar way, I will just provide information. So for example, user 1, right? I say, okay, user 1 dot, I'll be set name, right? Set name. First I set name. And I'm giving some name, John. So this is one of the name, for example. So what does that mean actually? That mean, so I am setting, basically I am setting the value inside the name variable. So next one will be something user 2 dot set name. This is the one. Maybe another name I can give Tom. Same thing, user 3 dot, again set name. Okay, so I just gave 3 different names for users. So now I want to see those names. How I can see those names actually now? If I want to see name, all I have to do, I have to create some print method, right? So even though these are returned, you see that return. So you don't have to actually create for getter. When you use getter and setter return, you don't have to create a variable of these. So now I can write system, right, dot, you see that system dot out println, right? Inside that we have to give user dot 1, user 1 dot, you see that now get name. So similar way, I will just I'll just do 3 of them. So one is user 1, one is user 2, one is user 3. So probably you can do same thing for, you can do exactly same thing for date of birth. You can do exactly same thing for phone number. So if I run this, let me check if it is working or not actually. I can clearly see it is working actually. I can clearly see it is working. Now, if you don't use get and set, it will not work actually. So basically for private, anytime you see private, you cannot work without get and set. That's the rules actually. So now you can keep continuing. You can just keep continuing. Now you gave same thing, right? So I'm just copy and paste maybe for date of birth, maybe, or phone number. So set name, right? So I'll be using set phone. So now you can just give some random number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You can give some random number, right? And now all you have to do, instead of name, this is phone number, right? Phone. So you see that? So we gave some name. Now we give some phone number and want to see that. I run this. You will see name and then 3 phone numbers. You see that? So this way you can work with getter and setter method. Same thing you can do now with date of birth. All you have to do, just give some random date of birth, maybe 3-1-1990, maybe, or maybe 5/12/1991, maybe something dash 6/17/89. So now all you have to do, this is date of birth. So whenever you just use specific user, you have to update their proper name also actually. Sometimes if you forget it, you will see the wrong data or error. Maybe later you will. You see that name, phone number. So if you make it little nicer, looks nicer, you can actually. So for example, you want to see this as like differently, like nice code. So what you have to do, after every 3, you can just give a space. That's it. You can just give a space. So that will make it. It will not display anything. Just instead of that, after name, there will be a space. After phone number, there will be space. You can even make it more nicer. For example, I want to see username 1, for example. For example, I want to see username 1. So I want to just something like I want to add. Username 2. And here, username 3. So depending on how you want to see on your screen. So now if I run this, you will see the name will be displaying really nicely. So you see that now, since what is that? Okay. Oh, here, right? So you see that there is a gap. Now it looks really nicer. So you can modify your Java code differently based on your need. So you see that it looks nice. So you can add similarly like phone number equal to this. So it gonna looks nicer. So this thing happened even though there is a private method. Those were private. You're not supposed to use this if you don't know those setter and getter name. And those are like kind of key that you can use for your testing. So everybody actually understood how getter and setter or setter and getter works. You are creating set method and then you are creating a get method. Set is to setting the data, get is to getting the data. So first you are setting, next you are getting basically. Anybody did not understand this one? Setter and getter. This is encapsulation actually. Hello? Can you confirm that you understood that? Or at least you understood from high level?
Yes, it seems clear.
Okay. So we are actually 2.5 hours without any break. I don't want to take a break and come back for like 20 minutes. So I probably will continue like 10-15 more minutes and then we'll stop today. And next class will be end of Java. So basically by next Monday, or not Monday actually, next Wednesday, we'll complete Java review, the basic Java review that all you need for either practice, for your automation, and for your interview. So far what we did, let me look. Okay. Oh, we have one more topic left. That's abstraction, I think. Yes. So basically encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism is done. We have just abstraction. Sorry, I was actually mute. Okay. So this is the last topic for Java that you need actually for this course and for interview also. So, okay. Encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism is done. Remember I said there are a total of 4 types of inheritance, but regular inheritance 3 types. There is one more inheritance, multiple inheritance, that will not be covered with the word extend. The word extend will not be used for multiple inheritance. So for multiple inheritance, what does that mean? Remember I said there is a grandparent. Now there are two branch, maybe two uncle, one of maybe your parent, another maybe uncle. And now you are here. Maybe you are getting properties from both your parent and also from your grandparents, from your uncle. So the source is divided now into two. All the time before, you have one-to-one relationship, always one-to-one relationship, always one-to-one relationship, always one-to-one relationship. But now here you don't have one-to-one relationship. You have 1-to-2 relationship now, or maybe you will see 1-to-5 relationship. This situation will be handled with abstraction actually. So abstraction, it is important topic. You will see abstraction also during automation practice also. So how actually abstraction works? Let me go, because abstraction has multiple pieces. As I said, we'll continue abstraction next class also, and then we'll complete the Java. There is a lot of topic, right? So far last 2 weeks we are doing Java, and I think the following week, right? Following week, basically Saturday, we will be probably off that day because there's a Labor Day weekend. So a lot of students are going to vacation and will be out actually. So Labor Day weekend will be closed. Actually, that's why after Labor Day we'll start automation or maybe database testing. One of these. Polymorphism. Okay, this is done. Now going back to abstraction. Okay, so this is abstraction. So there is a lot of like method of basically concept that you have to just try to understand. So what is abstraction? This is one of the 4 pillars of Java that you definitely need. So abstraction is the process of hiding the implementation details and showing only the functionality of the users. So if you think about abstraction, right? Every day you are doing messaging with people. This messaging actually is working based on abstraction actually. Or sometimes you use ATM card, you make phone calls, right? All of these functionality actually use abstraction method. And how it works actually. There are 2 types of abstraction that basically you can achieve in Java through abstract class and interface. So both will be actually maybe need more explanation. So what is abstract class and what is interface? We'll see a little more, but if you think about abstract method, one thing you have to know, abstract method has no body. So you will see the regular class, what you saw in regular class. In the regular class, whenever you created a class, right, or method, for example, if I go to a method, for example, this is a method, right? So this is a regular method. So regular method has a parenthesis as a input, right, parameter, or you can say signature, or you can say argument. And then you have a curly bracket as a body. This is called body. This is called signature or input parameter, or this is our arguments, and this is called body. In abstract method, you don't have any body. There is no curly bracket with all of these details. All you will see some method name and parentheses. That's it. So this is the specialty of abstract method. Now going back, where is that? You see that regular method, you have parentheses and a body, curly bracket. Abstract method, all you have just the method name and the curly bracket, not curly bracket, the regular parentheses, no curly bracket. So this is sometimes important that you have to just maybe memorize or try to understand that how you can just compare a regular method versus abstract. What is the difference? So if some interviewers say, what is the difference between abstract method versus a regular method or non-abstract method? All you have to say, okay, abstract method does not have any body, but non-abstract method has a body. This is the main difference. But how it works, this is, we can maybe practice more. Has no body, it must be ends with semicolon. Basically, the regular method, this is another important maybe thing. Regular method has a body and no semicolon, right? The overall class has a semicolon, but abstract method, since this method does not have a body, it ends with semicolon. Semicolon is basically replacing the body. It must be the inside the abstract class. So this will be more maybe next class. It must be overridden. So this is partially we saw method overriding. It's kind of similar concept basically, but we'll see this next class. It can never be final or static. So basically, whenever you use abstract method, you cannot use these two words, static or final. Static or final cannot be used for abstract method. So this is this is kind of thing that you need for maybe interview. If somebody asks you that, what do you know about abstract method? What is the main specific points for abstract method? So you can give like 2 or 3 of these. There is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is 5 list, but if you just give first 2, probably the interviewer will be understand, okay, you know the abstract method. Okay, so abstract class. So we saw abstract method, right? Now abstract class. So abstract class, right, can have both abstract method and non-abstract method. So a abstract class, if a class has abstract method, automatically this class is abstract class. So if a class does not have abstract method, it is a regular class. This is not abstract class. So anytime you have abstract method inside the class, it is a abstract class. But a abstract class has both have abstract and non-abstract method. It can have both. You see that non-abstract class cannot have abstract method. This is my previous summary, right? So any abstract class have abstract method, automatically will be named as an abstract class. So I'm just reviewing these because maybe we need 5 more minutes and then we'll close today. The exercise thing we'll see next class. So now there is another concept called interface. So interface, right? So what is an interface? So now before that, there are 2 ways to achieve abstraction in Java, right? So if your class have all of the methods and everything is abstract, then this is 100% abstraction. And this is called interface. And if you have like some of them abstract methods, some of them not, this is abstract class, but not an interface because this is not 100%. So 100% abstract method will be interface basically. And what is interface? An interface is a collection of abstract method, basically. If you see, okay. Okay, so basically, if you see that one of your class, right? For example, there is a class. If this class, all of them are abstract method, this will be interface. If not all of them abstract class, like some of them abstract class, some of them not, this will be a regular abstract class. So this difference you will see actually next class. And interface basically will have 100% abstraction. That, as you see that. So this is important interview question also. What is interface? Collection of abstract method. Why do you need an interface? For fully abstraction, support multiple inheritance. Remember we said multiple inheritance will be covered by abstraction. So basically, instead of the word extends, you will use in the future for implements, the word implements. Just showing you here, but we'll see that in the future. This is regular inheritance, right? One-to-one relationship in inheritance. One-to-one relationship will be extends, the word extends. Now, one-to-many will be implements. So now if you have one-to-many, that will be implements. Implements, that is multiple inheritance. We'll see all of this practice next class actually. So this is an interview question, why interface supports multiple inheritance. But we'll explain this when we see this practice actually exercise. Multiple inheritance, all of these multiple inheritance. So some of them are very important, mostly for interview. How interface is different from a class. So how interface is different from a class, right? Interface does not contain constructor. So interface cannot have a constructor. So those are some kind of theory that sometimes you need, but usually you will not be asked. Sometimes rare situation they ask. These are actually during the practice we have to see actually some of them, how the variables works. What is the difference between abstract class and interface? So that's it. That's it for all of this theory for Java. But next class we need to practice abstraction. So next class has 2 hours. So this 2 hours is good enough for this, like multiple abstraction. So basically we'll be practicing 2 types. One is less than 100% abstraction. One is 100% abstraction with interface. This is the 2 types of abstraction we'll be practicing next class. So I think we are actually done here. Anybody has any question so far? Hello? So if you don't have any question, so we will stop here. I will share this recording. And so I already shared, okay, where is that? I already shared this document last class, during last email. So I don't have to share this again. So basically, this is already shared and that will be covered till next class. So only thing I have to cover, or I have to share the video recording from today. So if you don't have any question, then we can stop here. Stop share maybe. And have a great weekend, everyone. Rest of the weekend.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank